Benvenuto! Welcome to Cherry Hill Home Cooking. My name is Mark. Today we're going to make pistachio pesto. Now we have made a version of pistachio pesto, but that was a creamy pistachio pesto that we used in a dish specifically for that dish. Today is just going to be a regular pistachio pesto, and we're going to show you two different ways to use it. So what we're going to need for the pesto is we need 2 cups of loose packed fresh basil. We're going to need some olive oil, of course. And of course it wouldn't be pistachio pesto without pistachios. We're going to need some good Parmigiano Romano cheese. Going to need about 2 or 3 cloves of garlic. This is a really big clove of garlic. I'm probably not going to use that, and this garlic is really potent. But 2 to 3 depending upon what your taste is. And we're going to need some fresh ground pepper. That's salt and pepper to taste. I got lightly salted pistachios, so I'm not going to add any additional salt to it. We'll taste it and see if we need it. All right, let's get cooking. Okay, we're going to start by grating some cheese. We need about a half a cup. Half a cup, maybe a little bit more. But, yep, we'll use all of it. Alrighty, we'll put that aside. And we're going to cut up the garlic. This is going to get processed, so don't have to worry about cutting it up fine. And I'm going to say that's probably 3 regular sized cloves. Just do a little bit of a rough chop on it. We'll put that aside and we'll use that later. Okay, so then today we're going to be using one of my favorite kitchen gadgets. This is an immersion blender, plus it's also got a small food processor attachment to it. You can use a food processor, you could use a blender, or like I said, I love this this little machine for when I'm not making a huge amount. It works out perfect. So first thing we're going to do is give our pistachios a little bit of a start. All right, should be good. And we're going to throw in our basil. Just kind of pack it in down there on the sides. And then let's put our cheese right on top of that. And like I said, we're going to need a little pepper. I'm going to start with 1/4 teaspoon of pepper. That's fresh ground pepper. I just ground that a little while ago. Sprinkle that in. All right, so you're probably going to need half a cup, maybe a little bit more, depending upon how thin you want to make your pesto. Let's start out measured, just so we know for sure. And of course, this is a good extra virgin olive oil. And this is some good Parmigiano cheese. All right, so I'm sure we're going to need it all, but let's get about half of that in there to get it going. And on the way. This isn't a really powerful machine, so you might have to give it a little bit of a hand. And you want this to be a nice smooth consistency. There you go, it's starting to come together. And I am going to add the rest of our oil. Just a little bit, just in case. Whoop, that looks pretty good. So we use just about the half a cup. Throw our garlic in there. I forgot to put it in there. Don't want to forget that. And let's and that looks just about right. Give it a little taste. Perfect. All right, that is our pistachio pesto. You could use this on anything that you use pesto on. It makes a great spread on a sandwich. Like I said, today we're going to do 2 different ways to use it. So we'll be back when we're ready to get that started. Okay, what we're going to start with first is we're going to make a really nice, simple pasta dish with the pesto. We're going to add some nice fried chicken to it. Of course, you could do this vegetarian. Don't add the chicken. You could add some cherry tomatoes to it, like we did on the creamy version. But in any event, this way we're going to do it today with the chicken. I've got just about a pound of chicken there, and we just want to pat it dry. Of course, anytime you fry anything, you want it to be dry when you get it in your pan because it will brown better and faster. Okay, throw that out. Get gloves off. And we're going to salt and pepper the chicken. On both sides, of course. Okay, and we're going to bring it over to the stove. Okay, we got a frying pan here. This is a non-stick frying pan. It seems to be warm enough. I'm using just canola oil. We have a lot of olive oil in the pesto, so that is going to give a lot of flavor to it. Canola oil has no taste to it, so it won't add anything to it. And I'm just going to swirl that around a bit and get our chicken in. And this is just chicken tender pieces. They're going to cook relatively quick. but I want to get a nice brown on them. A nice color. Okay, that's on medium heat. I think that'll suffice for now. And we're going to go start on the crostinis. Be back in a minute. Okay, you want a nice crusty bread, either a nice long thin baguette. They didn't have those at my supermarket today for some reason, so I just got some nice Italian sandwich rolls. But we're going to do this kind of two ways. You can do this in small rounds, about 1/4 of an inch, if you want to serve it as an hors d'oeuvre. Now, if you use that whole batch of pesto just for your hors d'oeuvre or, say, a crostini appetizer, that would do a lot. You'd probably get, at least 24 rounds crostinis, or at least probably 6 to 8 larger appetizer portions. So then for the appetizer, you might want to make them a little bit bigger, maybe about 1/2 inch in thickness, and cut them on the long side. And for our purposes, we'll do 4 of those. There you go. All right, and be back and show you how to butter them up and get them in the oven. Okay, we got all of our crostinis cut, and we're just going to lightly brush both sides with some butter. I got about 2 to 3 tablespoons of butter in there, melted, unsalted butter. And you want to get a nice little coating on there. And of course, at that point, once you get them all done on one side, you're going to turn them over and do the other side. All right, so I don't bore you with brushing butter on bread. I'll be back when we're all done. Okay. All right, last couple. Get them nicely brushed with the butter. Of course, you could use olive oil instead of butter. Like I said, since we're making a pesto, there's already a lot of olive oil in there, and the butter adds a nice creamy taste to it. I believe that's all. Oop, almost forgot that one. Okay, looks good. All right, so I've got my oven preheated to 375, and we're just gonna get these in the oven. It's probably gonna take about anywhere between 7, 8, 9, 10 minutes, probably about 4 minutes aside. Your goal isn't to get these really, really brown. You want to get them slightly brown, but you want to get them nice and crunchy. So let's get them in the oven. And we'll check on those in a bit. While we're here, we want to check on our chicken. Yep, perfect. Give it a flip. Look at that beautiful golden brown chicken. All right, I'll let that side get nice and brown, and we'll be back when that's done. Okay, our chicken for our pasta and pesto is all nicely browned. That's ready to come out. I'm going to move it to the cutting board just to let it cool down a bit so I can handle it and cut it up. I'm going to move this in. We don't need that anymore. And I'm going to bring this over here. And my fork went flying. All right, I'm going to move my pasta water over to my hottest burner. And turn that up to high. Oops, already had a nice boil. So we can get the pasta in. All right, of course, pasta always needs some salt. I'm only cooking a half a pound, but I'm still going to put a nice half a handful in there. And get my pasta stirring spoon. And get our pasta in. And as soon as that comes back to a full rolling boil, it's probably going to take about 8 minutes to 10 minutes al dente. I'll test it at around 6 or 7. I'm not sure if I've mentioned this before, but in case anybody hasn't heard this before, if you put your spoon on your pot like that, it's not going to boil over. All right, we'll be back when the pasta's done and start to put stuff together. All right, the chicken should be cooled down enough to handle, so I'm just going to slice it. And of course, how you slice it is going to be depend upon how big of the chunks you want in there. Kind of all just breaks apart anyway, so that's fine. I like it in slightly. I always do a couple bite-sized pieces and maybe a couple small pieces, so that it gets all mixed in and incorporated. Nothing to it. You could also use just a rotisserie chicken. You want to get a rotisserie chicken and just cut it up, breast and thigh meat, whatever you prefer. And that's done. I'm going to set that aside and use it in a few minutes. Okay, pasta is probably about 2 or 3 minutes from being done. I'm going to check on our toast. Oh, that is perfect. Look at that, just a nice golden brown, nice and crispy. Perfect. We don't even have to put it back in. Of course, if your other side wasn't browned at all, turn them over and throw them back in the oven for a few more minutes. Keep an eye on them at this point because they're at the stage they're perfect and they're going to brown and burn very quickly. But those are perfect. All right, see you back in a few minutes. Okay, our pasta is al dente. I am going to reserve just a little bit of pasta water just in case I want to thin out my dish when I get done with it. I don't think I'm going to need to, but better to have it than not. Bring it over and drain it. I'm going to use this pan to mix everything together. Nice high side so it won't go all over the place. Of course, I don't know if I've said this before, but please don't ever drain or rinse off your pasta. There are hundreds of millions of Italian people that would turn over in their grave every time, or that do turn over in their grave every time somebody does that. And throw it back in our pan. All right. Let me go turn off the burner. Grab our pasta water just in case. All right, now this is a just a half pound of pasta. So, again, if you used all of this pesto sauce for the pasta, you could probably do 1.5 pounds to 2. This is really very strong flavored, and you don't want it to overpower the pasta, but of course you want it to taste delicious. So let's see, let me just grab a spoon. All right, so we're gonna put a little bit in the pasta. Give it a mix around. Okay, I'm glad I saved it. I'm going to put a little bit of just a tad. Just a little bit more pesto. And then we're going to throw our chicken in there. Give it a mix. And there you have it. Put it into our serving bowl. And there you go. Pistachio pesto, penne, and some chicken. Enjoy. Okay, we're going to just finish it with a little bit of Parmesan cheese, because you can never have enough. And as far as I'm concerned, that is an absolutely delicious evening meal. Okay, so I'm going to have at least a half a tomato for the hors d'oeuvres. Probably a couple on the bigger crostinis. Alright, so then what I do is I just take a spatula, just do a nice smear of your pesto. And cherry half, or I'm sorry, cherry tomato half. Then for the crostinis or the bigger ones, maybe you're going to use this as an appetizer instead of an hors d'oeuvre. Same thing. And I put 2 halves on that. All right, I'll get it all plated up for you and come back and take a look at it. Okay, we're actually going to shoot another video, so we're not going to eat our dinner right now, but of course, we're dying to taste it. So, why don't we start with the appetizer first, since that's an appetizer.
Wow.
Good.
That's delicious.
With that creamy butter and the nice fresh basil, and you get that little taste of pistachio. I'm on another one. No. All right. Our pistachio penne with some chicken.
Very good.
Just nice, easy, fresh. Nice fresh taste to it. Delicious.
I concur.
Thank you for watching. I hope that you'll try these 2 recipes. We really enjoy them both. We enjoyed making this video for you. Ciao.
Bye.
Mmm. So good.